Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be on the Obena Miracle Worker Heavy Cruiser. Yes, but captains, before we get into this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button to help the overall channel out. But also, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge. We're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now that said, here we go. Yes, captains, the Obena. This ship, of course, is from Lower Decks, and once again, we are giving a huge shout out to Admiral Mikey, aka Dave Montar, for gifting us the Obena. So what we want to do in this video is head over to the ship Taylor, check out the customizations, because you can kit bash this with the Excel 2. Then go over the build, weapons, space set, consoles, trade stations, and DOFs, and then take it into a Cure Advanced. So first up, look-wise, she is essentially another take on an Excelsior. Now, I have some weird visual issues with this. Not visual issues per se, just so side view wise, it looks pretty good. Where it loses me is kind of the front. The neck feels too long. Like I'm getting vibes of a giraffe. And then when you go to the aft section here, it just feels a little too bulky. Like the nacelles seem very bulky along with the secondary hull at the back there. But as you can see though, it does share the nacelles pretty much almost like the Sovereign. So it's not a bad looking ship. I'm just saying that those are the visual things that I kind of find. Now it is also kind of carries over that skinny kind of look of the Excel there, but it works. I like the deflector in terms of the yellow there. Of course, that kind of harks back to the Sovereign, and kind of has like these fins working on there at the end there for, I don't know what purpose they serve, but they're there. Maybe some extra sensors, who knows. But yes, again, Admiral Mikey, thank you. So with this ship, we're going to have some fun with it, definitely. So let's head over to the ship Taylor first and show off the kit bash ability with the Excel 2. We'll just beam over to station, beam to the station this time, as opposed to just going into the doors. And that should put us back in the old transporter pod. Probably the quickest way is probably just to dock in, but you still have to go through that slow process of going through the doors. We'll go cat mode here, get there a little faster. On here and customize a ship. As I mentioned, it does share the same skeleton as the Excel 2, which this definitely looks better. And when you look at it from the front here and go between the two, that's where that visual just kind of loses me because of the long neck. Side view again looks fine, no problem there. It's everywhere else, but again, it is what it is. So we're gonna just randomize this, set this quickly here, and see what we can get. That I can't say that works. See, the secondary hull on the Obena has like an extra bulge here, whereas the Excel kind of just slenders out. So that's why I kind of like the Excel. Well, I definitely like the Excel better here. Excel 2, I should say. And this would probably be the configuration that I go with. This is kind of what I was going to mess around and show, that this works a lot better with the configuration there. Now I'd probably just change the nacelle there to the Excel 2. I mean, I guess it would make it more Excel, but I mean, then you have this huge weird gap there. But I guess you could just change the saucer to the Excel 2, and then that fixes your problems. I guess make everything Excel 2, but the one thing, if I was going to make a kit bash, it would definitely be this, where I would use the Excel, mostly the Excel 2. But again, this is a lower deck ship, so I feel like they have that sort of fun aesthetic to it. and it's not to be really taken too seriously. But there it is, Caps. There's that. So what we'll do now is head back to the ship and then go over the build quickly here. So let's just beam up. Again, it does look like just an upgraded Excel. It's like a step between the Excelsior and the Excel 2, but then of course the Excel 2 is the Excel 2. So I don't know the purpose of this ship, why they wouldn't make it a part of that family, as it definitely screams Excelsior. So we're back here to space. I kind of do that turn there just to avoid the automatic slowdown you get when you get too close to the station. All right, here, Caps, we'll show you what we did here. And again, yes, it's the Obena Miracle Worker Heavy Cruiser, and I named this, of course, USS ADMIRAL Mikey. So here's what we did. So the 4 weapons, as you Caps know, I love these beams. The phaser beam array with the over mod. Now, usually I'd go full overload, but we wanted to go with a FA build. So I find these actually proc after FA is hit, but you will hear it. You'll definitely hear that these do proc, which I absolutely love the sound of beam overload. So we have 3 of those in the front, paired with a Maelstrom Quantum Torpedo, of course, from the actual legendary hero. And these beams I just bought off the exchange and then just modded them and upgraded them. Space set, nothing too different. Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter from your fleet colony. Prevailing Innovative Impulse from the competition rep. The Solian Nucleating Warp Core, that was an event prize year 2 ago. And then we're just going to use the Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield from the Discovery rep. After weapons, this is what we did. Had to have my aft torpedo here, so Prolonged Engagement Photon Torpedo. Yeah, because it does have a 180-degree targeting arc, and of course, you can get this from the Phoenix Prize Pack, I believe ultra rare or very rare tier. But we got this from an event years ago, so we like using those. For the 2 beams here, we went with omnidirectional. The first one is the Trilithium Enhance omnidirectional beam, which is a reward from the Nexus episode, which does actually help us with some weapon haste. That's always good. It says there's a 2.5 chance, gain 10% firing cycle haste for energy weapons for 15 seconds. A good old plain omnidirectional phaser beam that we got from the exchange years ago as well. And then, of course, another phaser beam with the over proc. For devices, I don't know why I put this here, but it's there. Maybe change that, possibly. Let's change that. Let's put the Kobayashi Maru back here, because why not? We can do that. We can do such things. Kobayashi Maru back there, for its buff goodness. The Temporal Negotiator, help us with our cooldowns. Energy Candy, plus 20% bonus energy weapon damage for 20 seconds, plus 30 Starship Shield penetration for 20 seconds as well. And then Evasive Maneuvers in a can when we need to move across the map. For our consoles here at Universal and Engineering, of course, we went with straight up Isomags with the phaser mod because it's 39.4% phaser damage, 7.3 weapon power, 7.3 stacking max weapon power as well. So they're going to keep our phasers as hot as possible. We are, of course, going to use the console that comes with this ship, which is called the Antimatter Interweave. It says all damage resistance rating scales up with hull capacity, or as it falls. So area of effect plus damage plus engine override, once activated, remains active indefinitely. So when receiving damage once every 2-second period, plus 10% all damage for 60 seconds. When stacks of damage reach a critical level of 10, releases a 3-click radiation pulse and deals 53,906.4 radiation damage, provides 3% speed and turn rate for 10 seconds, resets all bonus damage stacks, deactivates the console, and plays it into a cooldown. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that so that we can keep activating it. Of course, DPRM, Dynamic Power Redistributed Module, which of course comes from the Atlas, aka Prototype Dreadnought. Gives us a passive 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 90% direct and energy damage. But when we click it, gives us bonus damage, resistance, and hull regen. So for 20 seconds, plus 40% bonus damage, while we are above 80% hull, plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. So with that prototype, you can get from your event prize, because it's 100% still worth it in my opinion. And of course, we're pairing it with the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead. You can get this from any version of the NX. Plus 25% projectile damage, plus 1% critical chance. The 2-piece here is definitely going to help us, because it's going to give plus 33% phaser damage for directed energy weapons. Next up, the Fleet Power Network Array, which comes from the Iwani. Plus 5 maximum aux power, 24.2 Starship Exotic Particle Generator, Fleet Power Network, enhance ally and pets they control to friend up to 12 pets they control 35 seconds, plus 50% to 125% directed energy damage fire cycle haste. Now, I have checked. This does affect your ship if you don't click anyone else. I was told that, so we're going to use it and go run with that. But every 3 seconds, 60% chance to apply. Also, one of Beam Overload 1 can rapid fire 1 or Torpedo High Yield 1. So it's going to still help us regardless. Next up, the Emulating Phaser Lance, which is from the Deimos Pilot Destroyer, which we got from our first event campaign. Gives us 15.8% phaser damage, plus 43.8 Starship Shield Pen. And then lastly, well, we're going to use the console that comes from the XL2, the Experimental Power Redirection. 19.9% increased energy damage, plus 13.3 Starship Weapon Amplification, which is the improvement of our crit hit severity. So that is, as you can notice, Caps, we did not actually T6X2 this, because I just want to see how ships do right out of the box. If I'm not mistaken, I think we did about 300 to 400k in this. So energy builds are not our strongest builds. You can tell, Captains, because we actually do focus more on torpedoes. But we can whip this out when we need to help out in some pew. So with that, stat-wise, we have a crit chance of 31.8% and crit severity of 130%. Now, we can actually probably switch this out with the console that comes from the Helios, but I want to use that. Maybe we can, we can make an on-the-fly change. How's that? Why don't we make an on-the-fly change? Universal console, we use that console that comes from the Helios. I believe it's this one here. Yep, the Custom Power Matrix. Let's do that. Let's make a change. Let's put that here. And then we have to toggle this so that it doesn't keep going on and off. We'll just put this in the bottom tray here. See, things we can do when we're building, and one of the fun things that you can do while you're building is, of course, change things on the fly, because why not? And of course, this was from the Helios, which is the event prize of the Winter 2024 event. As you can see there, while in the Science console gives the 20 shield power, Engineering console 20 aux, Tact 20, but when it's in the Universal console slot, which is what we put it in, 120% power transfer rate. So that's going to help keep our weapons hot. And of course, when we're hitting all the buffs there, it gives us the plus weapon haste, plus crit severity, and plus crit chance. So, and then of course, while it's active, plus 20% recharge speed for bridge officers. So definitely you're going to see that a lot more on the build of our ships, and it's going to help, as I mentioned, with that. Now, I could use also the domino, but we only have so much, and we choose to do this. But you can have more slots if you X upgrade your ship. So we're going to just change that. That's a change, and that'll help. So as you can see here, our crit chance 31.8% and our crit severity is at 130. If we activate this, console, that's going to go up. In battle. I guess it didn't go up here, but it will. It definitely will in battle. Usually that's what happens. It was going up. So the fire cycle haste, let's see here. Critical severity. Oh, there you go. Yep, it does go up. There you go. So that is what we're working with. Now we have our Pendevers are ranked up to 600. We can go to 750, but we were doing okay before the cap, and we're doing okay after the cap. So that is what we got going on there. Our skills has not changed, will not change. 8 spent in engineering, 10 in psi, and then 28 in tactical. Traits, this is what we're working with. So unconventional systems, beam barrage, the Boimler effect, a good day to die, adaptive offense, fragment of AI tech, intelligent agent attaché, self-modulating fire, superior beam training, and inspirational leader. For starship traits, this is what we got going on to try to extend the fall. We have ETM, or Entwined Tactical Matrices. Universal designs, the ruin of our enemies, emergency weapon cycle, and ship of the line. And for our space reputation, again, nothing really changed. Advanced targeting systems, magnified firepower, precision, enhanced shield penetration, and Tyler's duality. For our stations, left to right, top to bottom, this is what we decided to do. So we have tractor beam, scramble sensors, force concentrate firepower to help our torps, along with torpedo spread 1, attack pattern beta 1, and fire at will 3. Next, emergency powered engines, emit unstable warp bubble, and of course, because Miracle Worker, we can use narrow sensor bands 3, and it's going to go between FA and exceed rated limits 3. Structural integrity collapse, emergency power 2 weapons, and then of course Dr. Crusher here to help us with a high yield 1 whenever we can spit that out. Now we go to our dupes. The 2 on ground helping us in space. Neil Falconer, increased damage versus the Borg, and Elder Milikatan, increased damage versus all. For space, emergency con holographic officer there for the recharge of the evasive maneuvers when we hit emergency powered engines. 3 energy weapon officers. As you can see here, we have 1 that gives us a chance to stack crit chance, and 2 of them give us a chance to stack crit severity when we fire our energy weapons. We stuck in a projectile weapons officer there to help stack a chance of crit severity when we fire our photons. And then the Lyrene increased damage versus Zerberg. So that is the build. Now we're going to take this into a Cure Advance and see how it does. That is my testing grounds. So what we'll do, as we normally do, head in there, go to left, clear out the left as best as we can, go to the right station, clear the ships heading towards the Kang, clear out the right station, and then clean up anything else before we finish off at the middle station. And here, your advance, and here we go. Like I said, she performs well as a beam boat and can be very, very useful when it comes to beam builds especially. So there you go, let's go do that. Activate our Elios console, have that going on, get our buff goodness with the Kobayashi Maru. Okay, we'll go there, start buffing up. Get rid of some of the ships there. As you can see, it's just gonna keep going here. We have a lot of beams going up, and there's a beam overload proccing from the beams. There you go. Okay, now we can head over here, clear this out. So that shockwave that you see there is the actual Obena console. That's why I have to reset it here and there. Get our aft photons firing. Make sure we get these. Get that Raptor going here. Everything else. We got one more Raptor here. Might as well clear this out. That out there. We are on fire, but that's okay. We have our DPRM that we're going to activate here quickly. Figure that out. Woo! Oh, we got a sphere here. Oh, and some Negvars. Okay, sure. Don't know why those came out there, but we'll just clear them out here anyways. We'll tell the Kang to get out here. Just so that you don't risk it getting hit anyways. There you go. Let's clear that out. So she did pretty well in clearing things. Don't know why those decided to launch later, which is weird, but sure. Sure.
This our go-lands. You will escort us to your own world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
There you go. That is how she did. Now, usually, I'm not sure if this is an issue with anyone else. The Helios console should be active the whole time, but I find I actually had to hit it here and there. Now, that's okay. I saw it was off. Anytime I press it, though, click it, it would stack and help with universal design, so that's okay. But that's how she did. She did pretty well, in my opinion. And pretty standard for any type of cruiser energy build that I do. But again, she did really well, and we're gonna just go take some selfies here because captains, of course, you know we love taking our selfies, and they are ship selfies. But that is how she did, and again, quite a capable ship nonetheless. And it took the Borg out pretty handily, in my opinion. Especially when it comes to the Pews. The Pews was very strong. You saw it, Caps, the overload was proccing pretty regularly, and that's why I love those beams, because they actually do proc. But there you go. Let's head out here and give our final 2 ECs. And like I said, all the builds that we do here are just for fun. And for me, I like to try to keep them with the Canon look as much as possible. And with the Canon look, I just try to increase it with the consoles and traits underneath the hood. So again, huge shout out to Admiral Mikey for gifting us the ship. Thank you so much for allowing us to add this to the fleet early. It was on the list to add just because it's a ship we saw on screen. And with the kit bashability with the XL2, you can get some sort of kit bashability there and go a little wild, not too wild, but a little. So do us a favor, Caps, hit that like button. Also comment below, let us know if this is a ship that you'll be getting. And if you haven't, what do you think of it? And of course, if you're new here, consider subscribing to the YouTube Bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.